Hey kids, welcome back to Kids Connection. Let's get started. Today we're going to jump back into the book of Exodus and further look into the lives of the Israelites as they were being led through the desert by Moses. You see, Moses led over 2 million Israelites through the desert, and God provided for them every single day. One of the ways that he provided for them was by giving them their daily bread, giving them just enough food to eat for the day. So let's take a look at Exodus chapter 16, beginning with verse 13, and we're going to continue all the way through verse 31. So if you want to find your Bible and read along with me, pause the video, that'd be great. Exodus 16, verses 13 through 31. I'll give you just a second. Beginning with verse 13, it says, "That evening quail came and covered the camp, and in the morning there was a thin layer of dew around the camp. When the dew was gone, thin flakes like frost on the ground appeared on the desert floor. When the Israelites saw it, they said to each other, 'What is it?' For they did not know what it was. Moses said to them, 'It is the bread the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord commanded. Everyone gather as much as they need. Take an omer for each person you have in your tent.' And an omer was possibly around 3 pounds of food." Verse 17, the Israelites did as they were told. Some gathered much, some little. And when they measured it by the omer, the one who gathered much did not have too much, and the one who gathered little did not have too little. Everyone gathered just as much as they needed. And then Moses said to them, "No one is to keep any of it until the morning." However, some of them paid no attention to Moses, and they kept part of it until the morning. But it was full of maggots and began to smell. So Moses was angry with them. Each morning everyone gathered as much as they needed, and when the sun grew hot, it melted away. On the 6th day they gathered twice as much, 2 omers for each person. And the leaders of the community came and reported this to Moses. And he said to them, "This is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow is to be a day of Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. So bake what you want to bake and boil what you want to boil. Save whatever is left and keep it until morning." So they saved it until morning as Moses commanded, and it did not stink and it did not have maggots in it. "Eat it today," Moses said, "because today is the Sabbath to the Lord. You will not find any of it on the ground today. 6 days you are to gather it, but on the 7th day, the Sabbath, there will not be any." Nevertheless, some of the people went out on the 7th day to gather it, but they found none. Then the Lord said to Moses, "How long will you refuse to keep my commands and my instructions? Bear in mind that the Lord has given you the Sabbath. This is why on the 6th day he gives you bread for 2 days. Everyone is to stay where they are on the 7th day. No one is to go out." So the people rested on the 7th day. The people of Israel called the bread manna. It was a white like coriander seed and tasted like wafers made with honey. So when we think about that passage, and when we think about God providing the Israelites just enough for what they needed for every day, it's amazing. They didn't know where they were going to find food. They didn't know how they were going to take care of their next meal. But they knew that they could trust God and follow His commands. And if they did, He would provide them exactly what they needed for that day. God could have given the Israelites enough manna on one day for the whole week if He wanted to. But God wanted to teach His people to trust Him every day and to be satisfied with each day's food. Do you remember what happened earlier when I read that the Israelites, some of them anyway, took more manna than what they needed? It said it rotted and it began to stink and had maggots in it, or like little fly larvae. Just gross, right? And what happened when they took extra on the 6th day though, like God commanded them? It was still good the next day, wasn't it? When they did exactly like God commanded them, He provided them exactly what they needed. I was wondering, are you ready to trust God every day? Are you ready for God to supply everything that you need to get you through today? Try this for 1 week. Pray about one specific thing each day. Maybe it's a member of your family that's not doing well. Maybe it's a math test that you've been worried about that you're doing through distance learning at home. Maybe it's something else that's going on in your life. Maybe you've been thinking about, your family's thinking about moving. Maybe you've had different things going on and it's just real heavy on your heart. I want you to try to trust God to be your daily bread. I want you to trust God to supply what you need for the day. So try this. Pray about one specific thing each day and don't worry about tomorrow. Find a journal, find a book or a notepad where you can write down and keep track of how God answers these prayers, these daily prayers. I want to encourage you to do that, okay? Pray about one specific thing every day. Ask God to do His will in that thing that you pray about. Write it down and then go back and look and see how He was faithful to supply you what you needed for that day and was faithful to take care of those things that you prayed about. Hey, I hope you're having a great week. I miss seeing you. I look forward to us getting together again soon. God bless you, and I'll see you next week when you tune in for Kids Connection. Bye-bye.